Hello and welcome to Happy Cells and Souls. My name is Julie Powers and I'm a licensed Zumba instructor and I'm an affiliate with the Juice Plus company. And my missions in life are to help people know that life is better when they're dancing through it and to inspire healthy living around the world. But my expanded mission is to create better health at the cellular level and more joy at the cellular level. Because we only get one body while we're here and we have to take care of it. And while we're here, we might as well spread a lot of joy and love and light into this world, because otherwise, what's the point, right? And so these conversations that I capture are just little snippets of people's lives, people that I've been able to come in contact with and meet along the way, who I feel like they bring joy and light and love into the world. They impact the world in positive ways, and they have interesting stories to share. So today, my guest is this beautiful woman named Uchenne Mbaraonye. I just call her Uche. And so it's much easier that way. And I would love for you to share your story because you are a new doctor to our area, to our community. But I've gotten to get to know you and a little bit of your story and how you got to Farmington, Missouri, for one thing. But I'd love for you to talk about you and your husband, Tunde, and where you grew up, and how you decided to come to the United States to go to medical school. And let's just talk about your story.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me, Julie. It's been great getting to know you as well. So I grew up in Nigeria, as you said, and I actually spent the first 17 years in Nigeria before I moved to the United States. And how did I decide to be a doctor? That's an interesting one because I actually came to be an accountant and I already started taking classes. I think I did about 6 months and I just did not like math. I could do it. I, did well in my classes, but I just couldn't, I guess I couldn't see past it. For me, it was just numbers and I wanted something more out of my life, and before that, when I was younger, my dad actually always said that, oh, I'll be the doctor, my sister will be the lawyer. So it was kind of already predestined, if you would. And I just didn't want
that. He saw that in you and he knew, right?
And I honestly don't know why he thought I could do it because I love my time. I love life. I love sleeping. I don't like to work too hard if I don't have to. Okay. And I knew that going through medical school and actually going through residency, that's a lot of work and dedication. And I just did not think at 17 that I was ready to make that commitment. So whenever he brought it up when I was younger, I would say no. I think one time I remember this conversation, I said, no, Dad, I want to do what's best for me. And, and I ended up, and he didn't fight it. I came to school, took some classes in accounting, and one of my uncles actually brought it up to me that why don't I go to medical school?
Right. So wait, how did you get from Nigeria to the United States? How did you decide that's where I want to go for my schooling?
So my brother was already here, our first child, and our firstborn. He was already here in the United States, and it just happened that, I had to follow his lead. We all came, so it was already decided, I guess. So that wasn't the difficult part. It was a matter of, yes, I was done with high school and the next step was to join my brother. At that time, he was in Ohio, so I joined him in Ohio. So that's how I ended up in the United States.
There you go. Okay. So you had to be an accountant. Numbers were not your thing. You probably couldn't feel yourself in a room with a bunch of computers and numbers and just dealing with other people's paperwork, which is a great profession. And I'm so glad that there are people out there that can do that.
Sure. Yes.
But it wasn't the right thing for you. So tell us how that transition actually happened.
So I think when I had the conversation with my uncle, he brought it up, and I think maybe at that time I already knew I did not like accounting, but I did not know what else I wanted to do. So he brought up medicine and I thought about it, but I don't know if I mentioned this to you already, Julie, but I get easily irritated by bodily fluids, blood.
Yeah, you know what? I remember you telling me that when we first met, that you were not a fan of blood, you were not a fan of body fluids. And I'm like, so how does this happen? You know, how do you become a doctor if you don't like body fluids?
So, so when he had brought that up to me, I had this, I still remember this correctly, because I had this page in a biology textbook, and it had cells, and it was cancer cells, animated, of course, right?
Mm,
And I just couldn't stomach it. It's just icky, you know, for lack of better word. And I told him, I was like, I can't do it. Things like this make me irritated, right?
right.
I don't know what he said. I can't remember exactly, but he said something, obviously, that helped me kind of get past that fear. And what I used to do, I would use a marker or something and kind of mark things that I would find icky, so I don't have to look at it. Yes. So when I studied in medical school, and maybe there was an image or a diagram that I just couldn't stomach, I would maybe place a paper or something to just close it so I can keep going, Julie. It was that bad.
Wow. So you really had to do a major change while you were in
Yeah.
medical school. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, obviously the all-nighters and the coffee and everything that I shouldn't be doing, that is not healthy for you. But, you know, amongst that, I think the biggest challenge for me was to get past that irritation. And I still have to mentally shut it off, you know, when I see certain things or smell certain things, and just shut it off. So I don't have to, yes, because I still deal with that. Even as a physician, in every day, maybe I'm changing a wound. Obviously, I do not make my patients uncomfortable, but I have to mentally remind myself that this smell or this look is from a pathological tissue, and I just need to get rid of it. And then I win the fight, and I
Right.
keep.
Right. Because you're there to help people get past that ick. Get
Yeah.
past the ick. It's not even the sick, it's the ick. So that's interesting. Okay.
Oh, man.
So then I remember when we first met, you were telling me how you thought that you were going to go one direction with medicine, and then you completely changed midstream and said, nope, this is what I want to do. So tell me how you started out, and then what made you switch over to internal medicine, which is what you practice right now.
Yes. So I loved surgery. I loved being in the OR. I loved it. And I think I know actually
There's a
that I
lot of blood and body fluids in the OR.
was, you know, but the same mindset, knowing that I'm trying to save a life, right? Knowing that I'm trying to help someone. I think that kind of overshadowed whatever ick feeling, whatever it was, and kept me going. But yes, I love the OR, but I just couldn't get past the lifestyle, you know, and I want to someday have a family of my own. And I know there are female physicians who are surgeons and they can do it, right? But I know me, and I know that I want to go to work Monday through Friday and have the weekend for my family and myself as well. I love to cook. I love to, you know, just lounge around, do makeup, fun things that, you know, life is made of.
Yeah,
But
because you're a human. And I love this about you, Uche, because a lot of people put doctors on this pedestal and they think that they are 24 hours a day, 365 days a year doctors, and that they don't have like normal lives outside of the clinic or the hospital or wherever they happen to be practicing. But you're a normal human woman who is interested in hair and makeup and hanging out and doing fun things with your husband, and not just being in medicine all the time, so that when you can totally focus on that, and then
that,
you can separate yourself and regenerate and refresh. And I think
yes.
that's great.
Yes, Julie. And I think that's what makes me a great physician. I think I'm a great physician. Okay. And I think that
I've heard stories that you're great.
and it's because, like you said, I get to recharge, you know, I get to live and enjoy life outside of medicine, that when I come back to medicine, I bring that joy.
Right.
At least that's my intention, right? I bring that joy back to my work, and it's just, I can do it. I honestly see myself doing this for years,
Right.
just because I have that balance. Because life is good, you know, I no longer have to look forward to some future where I would be happy. I am happy. I have a good job. I love my coworkers, and being happy outside of medicine makes me keep that joy in medicine.
Right. And you know what's very true about that is that we have to find our happiness within ourselves.
Yes.
And so whatever is happening outside of us really can't affect the happiness. It just should add to it.
Exactly.
And so it sounds like you have found the perfect balance. And I hope that you can continue with this balance, because so many medical professionals really struggle with that, because they are so connected that they burn out very quickly. And I know lots of people in the medical field that have extreme burnout because they have, absorbed every little aspect of their life is medicine, and they can't escape from it. And it sounds like you have a really good outlook on that, and how to stay fresh in what you do. And because you're a younger doctor, you have all this very new information. It's not, yes, experienced doctors are amazing, and I love that they have so much wisdom and experience, but too, you have all this newer information about newer ways of looking at things and newer research that's out there that maybe some of the more experienced doctors haven't looked at yet. So I think that's really great. And you and your husband, Tunde, tell us a little bit about your love story, because, it's great that you both are from Nigeria. And how did you guys connect?
Okay, so Tunde and I actually have the young love story. We met when we were both really young, and we kind of just, grew together. All right, he's from Nigeria, I'm from Nigeria. He's from the western part of Nigeria, actually, and I'm from the eastern part of Nigeria. And we met here in the United States, okay? I think for me, at least, I think from the first day I met him, I was really, really attracted to him. And eventually I found out that he found me interesting as well. And we kind of we love to laugh and make jokes and play, and just live life. He's not uptight. I am not uptight. I love life to the fullest, and just the basic things. And I think that's what really connects us, because even when we are amongst people, we still enjoy that fun, basic, just maybe, something funny happens, we laugh about it. We don't hide how we feel about things.
Right, that's great.
And he's so focused and just knows how to keep calm no matter what storm. Because honestly, sometimes I look like I can keep it together, but there are times where it just hits and I'm like, okay, I don't know what to do, but he
right.
knows how to keep us focused and calm and just keep sailing. And, we've been through our ups and downs, but I think I don't know if anyone out there believes in soulmate. I don't know if you do, Julie, but I
For sure.
I really do think it is. And, even on the hardest days, I think about it. I'm like, who better would I be doing life with? And I think that's Tunde.
Right. That is amazing. That's amazing. And you know what? Now that we've heard about your love story, and we got off on this tangent, I don't think that we ever answered the question about the OR and the surgery and how you ended up in internal medicine. Sorry. I just went off on a tangent. So
sorry. Yes. Also, I was saying, I loved it. I enjoyed it. I was good at it. I could have been even better at it, but I just couldn't connect with my patients at the level that I do right now as a primary care physician.
Right.
I want to one day get to the point where my patients and their families, they are like family to me. And you wouldn't, I don't know if you'd know this, but under 6 months of being an attending primary care physician, I already have some of that. I already have patients who I don't even need to look to see what, I know why they're coming in, right? And if I don't know, they'll tell me why they're coming in. And I enjoy those visits. And I just didn't think I could get that from being a surgeon, to be honest with you.
Well, sure, because surgeons only see people when it's time to dice and slice and fix them up, sew them up, and get them out.
Yeah, and then you get the follow-up visit, which is great, but that continuity, that building that relationship, it wasn't just there. And that was really the main reason, and of course I mentioned earlier the lifestyle, but I think for me, I just couldn't see a future where I would, I love my job and I want it to be a part of me, and I couldn't see that as a surgeon.
Sure. Well, it's good that you recognized what was going to work for you, because it sounds like you have found just the perfect place, and being able to build those relationships, with your patients is really important. And a lot of patients are looking for physicians that make them feel like they care, because so much of our medical industry now is getting people through an assembly line when they go in to see their healthcare practitioner, and they don't feel like they get enough time with the person, and they don't get to tell them all the things that are really bothering them physically, emotionally, whatever. And you're the one that can connect all those dots for a lot of people, and so that's great. So it sounds like you have found the right place.
I have. I really have.
That's good. So we have about 4 minutes left, because it always goes really fast. So I wanted you to talk about the best thing about your job, which it sounds like is connecting with your patients. Is there anything about being in internal medicine and family practice that you have found to be different than what you thought it was going to be?
Let's see. I don't think so, Julie. I think I probably thought it was going to be worse.
You had expectations of it being a little more challenging?
Maybe that's what it is. Maybe I kind of already planned that it was going to be, because the paperwork, everyone spoke about the paperwork, and I had co-residents who didn't want to be primary care physicians just because of the paperwork, right? So I kind of already had that mindset that I'm going to be doing a lot of paperwork stuff. So I guess even though that's a lot, for me, it's like, oh, it could be worse, So
right. That's good, because then you already had an expectation of it being much worse than it is.
So,
and
yeah.
and I don't think that that's something that most people think about. We think that when we go see our doctors, they get 5 minutes with us or whatever, and they look at our charts, and then they send us out for tests, and then they get those tests back. Well, when do the doctors look at the tests? Most of the time it's after hours. Most of the time it's when they're at home and they've had dinner and they need to look at this stuff, and they need to follow up with those people. And it's not during office hours when they're seeing other patients. So there is a lot of time outside of the clinic hours that you guys have to put in. And so I'm glad that it's not as bad as you thought it was going to be. But I think that also as you build your practice, that is going to start becoming, a little bit more in the puzzle that you put together. But it is something that a lot of us just take for granted, that, our doctors are just there, right, whenever we make our appointment. But nope, you're working a lot outside of those normal business hours. Yeah.
I think it's, like I said earlier, if you love it, and for me, I'd say it, medicine for me is a privilege. I, even in as much as I know I'm doing great and saving lives, people trust me with their lives, right? And once I think about the fact that someone could get harmed if I don't get things done on time, and I want to love my patients. I try to have patients that we have mutual respect for each other. So giving that extra time outside of my work hours is not difficult for me, because I am trying to help a friend.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I think just having that mindset for me, and not doing it because I have to, but because I choose to, it makes it easier.
Right. That's great. No, I think that makes perfect sense. We have about 1 minute left, and I would just love to know, you landed in a small town in kind of rural Missouri in the middle of the United States. Tell me how you like living in a small town.
I do. I actually grew up a little bit before we moved to a bigger town in Nigeria. So I missed that peace and quiet, And now that the spring and the sun is coming back up, we're having some birds come sing, and it's nice. I love it. Tunde loves it. And we have everything that we need, St. Louis is not too far from us. And it's just, I love it. I really do. And I like it here.
Good. Good. We're so glad. And we're so glad to have you and Tunde in our community. And I hope that whoever is watching this right now, you know, if you're looking for a new doctor and you live in the area, maybe this is the right person for you. And if not, then, you know, maybe you know someone who is thinking about going into medicine, and maybe this story is something that would help make a decision one way or the other for that person. And you can share this video. I will include in the notes with this video the name of the medical arts clinic where you work and the phone number, so that if somebody wants to get in touch with you, they would be able to reach out that way. Is there anything else that you would like to say before we close this out?
I just want to say thank you, Julie, for thinking of me and doing this. This is my first time, but I really enjoyed it, and you're amazing, and I can't wait to hang out with you.
All right. Love you. Thank you.
Thank you, Julie.